this is Sandra from the Cherry Heart podcast, and I have a tutorial for you today of how I make my classic granny squares and change colours and weaving in the end of those squares. So in part one I showed you how to make this granny square. If you haven't seen that yet, I'll link it up here for you, and I'll pop a link in the description box below so you can go and watch that and catch up and come back here. Let's start with changing colours. So I'll make a square like this one here. So I'll start with this pink colour and I'll do this first round just as I did in the other tutorial, and then we'll talk about how to change the colour. So here we are with our little tiny square with one round complete. In the previous tutorial, because I was using the same colour, I started the next round by taking the yarn into the corner, by making a slip stitch into the corner space. But as we're going to cut this yarn and add a new colour, I don't need to do that. So I'm just going to cut this yarn here and pull that end through to the front. And I want to just get that out the way. So I'm going to move that to the back by just inserting my crochet hook into the same chain that I made the slip stitch into, but just from back to front. And I'll just wrap that yarn over and just pull it back out of the way. So here's our new colour, and I've just got the yarn end hanging there, and I'm literally going to just put the hook into the chain space and pull that new colour through. And then I'm just going to hold this end and my other yarn end. I'm just going to hold those over there so they're trapped between the hook and the yarn, just to cinch them in place while I make the first few stitches, and then I'll drop them. If you're finding it quite difficult to hold those all in place, so that you can carry on crocheting, you can just knot those two ends together. Just literally take your new colour, knot those two ends, and then you can just pull the new colour through and you'll be ready to go. So as we've got our new colour nicely in the chain space already, I don't need to make any slip stitches to start this round. I can just go ahead and work the four chains, that I start the round with. Then I can work the 3 UK treble crochet stitches into the corner. So that's a US double crochet stitch. So there's our first corner. I've made my first 3 stitches, and I can just go ahead and move those tails all out the way now until I come back and weave them in. So I'll just work my way round, and I'll just show you that one more time on the next round. There we are, my second round is complete, and as I did before, I'm just going to cut that yarn, pull that through, and just bring that yarn to the back of the work out of the way. Let's add the third colour in now. We have this nice yellow for our third colour. This time I'll just take the yarn and I'll tie it on, as I mentioned last time, just so you can see. So just flip that to the back and literally just tie that new colour on the knot. So there we are, you can see the knot is on there, and then you can just take the crochet hook, grab that new working colour yarn, and bring it through. You just might need to pull those ends up just to get it to cinch up nicely, so you've got a nice neat start in that corner. Then you can chain 4, and you're ready to start off your new round. So last of all, we need to weave in our ends and make everything look nice and neat and tidy. So to do that, we'll need a yarn needle, just a regular sewing needle, but a bit bigger and chunkier. And I've got a round ended one, but you can use a sharp point if you prefer. So we thread our yarn on. And so for this centre one, I just like to work the thread round the middle circle just a couple of times. I generally work over it as I'm making those first stitches, sort of trap it between the stitches as I go, but a few more goes round just to really cinch it up and secure it. Works nicely. With the other ends, I just like to take it under the loops on the back and just thread it along. And the secret of getting the ends to stay in place and not pop out everywhere just seems to be making sure you go in at least 2 different directions. So if you work down here, you want to come back on yourself, or at least work a few different ways. That just seems to keep it all in a little bit more securely. So I'm just lifting these loops up and finding ways to hide that yarn. And you want to make sure you've got a good couple of inches threaded in and secured. So I will work back on myself now. And I'll go up this side to finish. So you can literally work back through the same stitches. That does make it very secure, but if you ever want to undo your work or change your colour, it does make it quite difficult to do. So I'm just going to pop mine through that way. Just make sure it's not pulling the stitches, but is nice and firm and not baggy. And then I can cut the end off. So nice and neat square. So on this one, where I haven't got so much space to weave in the end, I like to make sure I keep the yarn ends in the same colour areas as much as possible, just so there's no chance of a different colour poking through from the front. So let's try that with one of these pink ones. So as I said before, if you can go down and then back in the opposite direction, that's the securest way. But we haven't got much space to do that here, so I'm going to use quite a few different directions and secure it that way. So I'm going to come under these loops, down that way, then I'm going to go up these loops, under these nice yellow ones, that will secure it in nicely. Then I'm going to go down again, under these ones, and then I'm probably just going to go back under these ones again, because where you've got a lot of stitches like this, I always think that's a nice lot of stitches to clamp the end in place. So I'm just going to go under that loop. See, I'm above it there. I'm just going to go under it, and then that's going to take that yarn back on itself. And that should hold that in nicely because we've come all the way across. And that will cinch that in nicely. So that's how I would deal with it if I've just got that much space to put my weave the end into. So again, when I'm weaving in these pale pink ones, because I've got very limited space to even go up and down, I generally like to take the edge end and just bring it down to the middle and take that round the middle a few times as well. There we are, all our ends in, and nice and neat on both sides. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, if you could give me a thumbs up on YouTube, and if you'd like to subscribe for more content, I have podcasts, quiet moment vlogs, and sometimes more tutorials. Thanks for watching.